First of all, me sure say some be predators aminianom, me maame no minuanom, ene ye manom ne ye nim ehihye a ewo ho no mo ase ye kwaya resabia e say ye de ye di so. So there is a certain embra anasa responsibilities mu ho no mo a ye kwaya resabia e say hospital no ye de hweye. That is what we call patient's charter. Mum ye nya da je ne kenkan no mako. Producer, if I have your permission, please. Yema for you now. Now, you will be a friend patient's charter. This is it. The patient's rights. The patient's rights. Now, patient's rights, you know, is so simple. I say, the patient has the right to quality basic health care irrespective of the patient's geographical location. Sir, obi a oyare a waba yare sabia ekwan bia ho no mo sir sa nipa kro no esa doctor fo ana nurse fo ana hospital obeko bia no eso ye hwe no emfa ho ni ba bi ofri ba sir sabi brothers of na brongo and waba kumase and waba beka kofo no tia esi ye hwe no sir sabi brothers of tumu and abankran they see a channel because that is how it is. Number 2, the patient is entitled to full information on the patient's condition and management and the possible risk involved, except in emergency situation when the patient is unable to make decision and need for treatment is urgent. We netete ina ne se koba se yare na no ayedin nipa na oyare no owo ho kwase so hu ade eye no ene ba bia ne yare na kwakoduru na esafie wo mu ne se gise ebia na otimi kasa anase he's not in that right position. He's not in that right thinking frame of mind that we are taking that decision for himself or herself. Sani pakrone de ye man kwai ebe da busu ni ba begirem. Number 3, the patient is entitled to know of the alternative treatment and other health care providers within the service if may contribute to improve outcome. Sunday way now, no hospital one must say cream. Now hospital not throw D or card. You throw the amount card. Sunday when they say hospital no, and make sure say, who now your patients now you for the work hormone. Who you are entitled to every single decision the hospital makes on your behalf. And you are entitled to ask any question at all. Number 4, the patient has the right to know the identity of the caregiver and other persons who may handle the patients, including students, trainees, or auxiliary workers. It is a me that Ayarasabia. It's a me who questions some bisa say, Dr. Ben Eshame, next ni Ben Eshame, ni person message your friend say, what more cham nano. I am entitled to know their names and to know who they are. And what they will contribute to my health care, I am entitled to it. Number 5, the patient has the right to consent or decide to participate in the proposed research study involving the patient after a full explanation has been given. And the patient may withdraw at a stage of the research project. Say the way you ready wo ho na say yare no eye krankro na me akasa me ya we say bia me yare ya duri die metimi akasa okay me say mabre me pese yare no beto aso biem and the treatment beto aso biem a he odo wo ho kwa say so to me ka say me de me na me ka say me yare me de mu aba mo sa so enja me life man na me kofie. That patient has a right to decide to make that decision. Number 6, the patient who declines to participate in or withdraw from the research project is yes, it's entitled to the most effective health availability, or that is health available, the healthcare available. So maybe we order some me say me ho edo do me na research na some ya dia fa me ho no me hu say that be baby we order ba me ntiase na baby we order say me bisa questions na say still na ntiase anya djuma me wo ho kwai say still na say doctors fo nya da je no mo hwe me, because this is the responsibility of the hospital to the patient. The patient has a right to privacy. This is one of the most important things. Therefore, we are losing sight in these days. We have the right to privacy during consultation, examination and treatment, and in cases where it is necessary to use the note of the patient's case for teaching and conferences. The consent of the patient must be sought. So, Koba say, me JB na by virtue of the fact say be a maba TV sunti. Eti doctor no Maakye hospital and yase be wo yare bia ano odin eye krankro na doctor no etimi akasa bia wo kira de obabi no osaso de midin e de kwa kira de obabi no oh yes sir etiamra na enhye won say so person use midin and so ka kire nkofo say ebia yare say and ade me example a bisa me mama ntime ho ase na me ma go ahead na sana what me ade midin ayesa fa to ho no. Number 9. Okay, let's go to number 8. The patient is entitled to confidentiality of information obtained about the patients, and that information shall in our constitution, at the hospital, they said, shall not disclose to the third party. Say me Abraham the hospital. Now Dr. Nakacha say, yare when they have me, and I mean maybe some doctor say, yare when they teach me. And Dr. Nakacha say, okay, yare A, B, or C. And the Nakacha say, even though me Abraham and the bar hospital, but men can't say Abraham. Maybe one question say me catch doctor, say me catch Abraham. That's a doctor no, so didn't watch you no catch Abraham. Doctor de tiamra. Wabu brother so. To the third party without the consent of the patient, or the person entitled to act on the consent of the patient, or the person entitled to act on behalf of the patient, except where information is required by law or is in the public interest. To say be a seven predators as someone paying the area, and now say be a vice president area. Now say a woman here says God of one a who ya require a higher president. I mean by law, if it is by law, it's a God of one who. But say me, I me tell how to say. Now because say my doctor didn't catch them Miss Abraham say, yare way na hamia. Now doctor who could catch Abraham say, yare way na hamia. Na nyamra kwa so a. Maybe who can say me do kwa kunya sem dibia. Ha? Ghana how to say there's one fundamental issue here we do not know. Emra ewo Ghana ha pa but dey fa nya adwuma. Sa samu to wa. Ebeka say emra ni ha. Number 9, the patient is entitled to the relevant information regarding policies and regulation of the health facilities that the patient may attend. It's here, some people who man, when you do hospital, a say hospital attendant for no, receptionist for them, I said, your provided OPD service, and now some more, a say, your mommy, rules and regulations. I want hospital, nah. Now, Obia till wants to say, and a patient till wants to say, Debbie, this is my area. I cannot go beyond this area. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. I can. Oh, what limitations we will horrible. But say, who can't tell me? Not the mimic of boom raswa. What do you question? So, punishing me because. No, how am I supposed to know the rules and regulations within your hospital? Until your patients not said yet. Say, doctors for no one man, yes, say this say, and they say see. And I said this say, and Mraya Shatu had the Musaini. But how many of you, or how many of us, and you call hospital about me. I catch and say, hospital said, yes, she said, what had money? What to be that? Oh, Ghana. No way. Come on. Yeah, so. So you see, you want now Ghana how? You want to share? I will come how to say, but I'm not saying, yeah, yari. I yen medical practices biano. Yen ni South, yeah, said that new ye washinti. Ye hear say, yari, ye quire sabia. Ye drew hard more. I want to yen tea. You conform to everything. Near Jaya, when the mad doctors and I are a sabia for no more so to see anyhow. It is something previous up. Or be to be called hospital pa. No pray, no cocoa pra, no the aba, no the abafi. Or be the something previous up. Yadre A at the call hospital. Or no cry A B. No good I had for. Are they because hospital no, I'll call you no. Hospital now due diligence. But the moment over boss to say, hey, me right in here. Me buy the yare when I'm a war. I feel that other body yare will be any nasa for the account. The account say, hey, oh, yeah, why? That the hospital will intimidate you and frustrate you to the point to say, what say ya and one no team keja. Now that's what I'm going to say though. Near the Adeba Kubia, I have a time where we are Simuha. Say, Yamina de Banyamina Neji. Hey, what a catch now? Who told you that? Say, Yamina de Manua Neji. No, that's never been like that. It's not Yamita what dear. You must have catch us as I did that child made Jimadi. How is that possible? A purely negligence of duty, a purely medical negligence. And a lot of people have suffered because of medical negligence. A lot of people, thousands of people in our country almost suffer because of pure medical negligence. But the fundamental truth is that they come up for any wine. Come up for any wine. Only come up for. So, say, assembly tuna. Nasa onyo bia. Sabe, efie bibi kakra o hord moa. Yede no for sa. O nyame na de mo no na je. We de yenjama nyame. We de enye hwe. Sa ne de nsem bi de twhwa ho sa. Now sa hospital na say yaresabia no. Ekosoa emankofo ehwere won kwa for no reason. How is this possible? But we'll go elsewhere. Utu kwa baby a. Baby I didn't talk to your home bebre. Baby I didn't hear your say your boy who sabrani bebre. These things happens and they face the full rigor of the law. But what about this part of our world? What about this part of our country where everything goes? Oh yare na oko ayare sabia na asem toa na to sa kwa. I can't just about three. You go through the three. Near the responsibility of the patients as well. Yeah. May never see the Honorable Health Minister. You know, and I'm tempted to believe, sir, Nenya brave because none will be of the Kromo Eba or your question or question. You have never took for not hospital. Now, there's one thing you need to know. Let's establish that fact. Say, be me. I'll be any me. And I'm a year here, and I'm in your question, and then we call hospital. Like I didn't be. Ebia na. Yeah, they return to some. I said they will pay attention. I said, Omeko Kwasabia say pay attention to you. Be say, what the sad the hard one team Kejana Oko. Near Kajo Son Yaminko. But Ebia no so yeah. Politician team. Let us give him that maximum attention. Near man is survival from the accidents. And when that happens, there are other consequences to it. If you don't do no nuntia, but I can be no me anywhere. I can be no me anywhere. Because at the end of the day, somebody see, let's say, see negatively and mawa, there is no person who will stand in for you. Only come up for beer. And this is happening right here in our country called Ghana, where people are dying and there's no reason to the death of the people, those people. And you said that need the reason why the person died. Near said that actual autopsy report say yare we ne ku no nye yetumi twa ntro de tro efunu so because efunu ntumi nkasa. Me eja na Jenny go through the medical the patient's charter. The last 3 of them. Now, the last 3, number 9. The patient is entitled to the relevant information. Okay, but that's normal way. Number 10. Procedures of complaints. Procedures of complaints, disputes, and conflict resolution shall be explained to the patients or the accredited representatives. It is a command say, walk to hospital, I go konya assembly, and I say, I really call her, no konya yarefu frobi, at their bar, and I want to show ye, and I be before from here see. It just say, hospital they are aware. But when I was a matron. But you know, there are procedures for all the more. They said that your suggestion was that they are too old to move, baby. And they said that yeah, information service center, baby. Go and explain to them. And mind you, the more you explain, just say, hey, I just don't know, I don't get it. What's up now? They quiet. What we have been until one. We walk over here now. Waka say who say I we no ba you kra na say ye dwane. But them now horse say o hodo mo say it's not to me there. Ebo hospital na man here. It is a hospital work compensation here. Yeah the compensate you. Because ye ni mukofo mebre o hodo mo a. Na mo say pressure na ye won. Omonya mojamroso. Mojamroso na e komo o diabetes aduro. It has happened so many times at most of the hospitals across this country because nurses funny binum and doctors funny binum. And situations best known to them. It will be taking decision be one more and one for them. Now finally, exemptions facilities shall be made known to the patients. Exemptions to say you wait there sayare we treat you ha. Sashi we yenye wo ha. Saade we yenye wo ha no musente say ma wo ya aware say we dey say eburo yeso a ba bia no bekodi. There are exceptional situations. And no say ma wo a we ye yarefo na ba ho no say ma wo ya aware say sashi we e wo ho no mo. Say ma wa nya aware. Na say me ko ke bia da Kolebuti hospital but with now that 37 military hospital la. You see that something should happen. Something should happen. But in real cases, it becomes virtually not talk about. The patient is entitled to personal safety and reasonable security of properties within the defines of the institutions. What do you mean, customer? Now, if you have the real issues, within the confines of the institution. Now, the patient has the right to second medical opinion. This is one of the most important things yes, that I pay attention to. Or say, the patient has the right to a second medical opinion if the patient so desires. Abraham, why you recall hospital? Doctor said, "Yare way out there, this was your surgery." Who quite said that be doctor? Yabutrasa. Mami ko who doctor fufro da me fa sa yare we fa kire no. Se sa surgery na o kan sa doctor no so e be suggest the same surgery dey amame a. Anasa sa yare da me de call ye no. Yes akoko ye hwehwemu ba be fufro. Ne ye fa dey to say the same yare na. You have that right to seek an opinion. But how many of us? And they went to me, I could catch the doctor say, Doctor, wait there, say we are, oh, Casamania, dear, Mentias, hey, and a lot of people, and Numundro Huruka. A lot of people are Numundro the wrong dosage, and the Guayam, and as so many complications. A lot of them have died. But see, we are semi brother, oh, yeah, for Nako Hospital. One, I never quite saw Yema Hospital do when say you provide full and accurate medical history for diagnosis, treatment, counseling, rehabilitation purposes. Bobadia Okwa Sashi so this so. Number two, request additional information or clarification regarding the patient's health and treatment which may not be well understood. The doctor dey pay any extra information now because the doctors sometimes probe further. Amu probi ebisa yare bia krada bia wo history bi and a family yare bia or whatever it is. And these are responsibilities of the patients. But the fundamental issue, and they say, the moment I enter into a certain hospital, that hospital owes me a duty of care. And found me free, and found me free, but and found a casa maker, and so hospital no there, because that is the duty of the hospital. Once I go into that medical facility, they owes me a duty of care. But how many of us? Any of them are the way. How many of us? Any of them are the way. And I am happy. Say the Minister of Health. I call unannounced visits. Is it Temaletichi Hospital? I call Temaletichi Hospital. Now, what this year every mono. Enya kukudro. I call Minister. I call say, Minister. We are sensing something very funny. We are sensing something that is funny. Yet this should be a film now. Wait there. A kind of how to film the idea why you say. It is a sound that said there. Yera, Hushemumaye. Oh, yeah, but you, Sandy Pakron, yeah, but you. Because the processes and the procedures leading to acquire your first usually Pakron. Sunday money now is one documented that will hold more. It's a hospital no other. It is so. Because under no circumstance. Enna, member hospital. Says you shame. Now you do how the more. Not nurses for no binom. Not doctors for no binom. Kokwasa. As you show. Near so that one maybe at the amount. In dress at the amount. Yeah, more the right dosage. As or no, when your issue be with fear. Not doctors. Any nurses for no binom. Deliberately they are killing people. Innocent people. Because of their actions and inactions. And that is the more reason why. And I don't pay. I'm a niabre. Bebre assisi of most hospitals, big hospitals, because at the end of the day, Abraham will come out for the wine. Me I because I come out for the wine. Sika bayin na me dey kwa lawyer. I'm a lawyer, then Dimasem, or the Kolabutichi Hospital, and Yasem, and now say you're the 37 military hospital, and now the Kofu are not cheap, and now say you're the Temaletichi Hospital. Sikabe Kwana me wa. Me de kwa yes, I'm the Koke Samansuwe. Me came me this year film. Me came the breadwinner of the family. Yashe the year, I'm a free war film or honomo. Never can say, Yamin Edim Onua Neje, and we are Cassatan time we are mempe we are Simuha. How can God give you something and take it back? But everything happens out of negligence. And when it happens, doctors, any I am deeply sorry. There has been certain situations, instances where surgery, pie obium, and now say be a pie the baby, and your man surgery, they be a candy paconi nipediem. Nipakona so far, and you nipakona from so, and your nurses for nibinum, and the doctors for nibinum, and from so. But at the end of the day, quiet, but also catch now say, doctors the crowd, or yes, I don't know, if you are now patients, you may send a child to their torso. You get it?